Today we're met with Svitlana. I hope I said
Yeah.
that correctly. And if you would just like to take a minute and just give us a brief summary of who Svitlana is and what type of work you're doing currently.
As you said, my name is Svitlana Tarasenko. I'm a Ukrainian psychologist working in a positive and transcultural psychotherapy approach. And during the war, I became a volunteer in the project of Psychosocial support service for families of military personnel founded by the non-governmental organization, Public Movement for Empowering Women in Ukraine. And at the moment, I have my private practice as a psychologist. I provide online consultations to clients with various requests. And also I am a volunteer for this project, also as a psychologist, and provide psychosocial support to military personnel and their family members in the format of phone consultations or via messenger chats. So that's my work at the moment.
That sounds like a lot. What inspired you to get involved in volunteering and helping, especially women? What stood out to help you go that direction?
Actually, that's a difficult question because it's been almost a year of my volunteer work. And I remember that time I wanted to put myself out there to try to do something impactful, to help others. And it just came out this opportunity to join this organization. And I knew I've known some psychologists from there already. So I was 100% sure that everything is going to be really professional, and we're going to do it the best way we can to provide this help. So it was actually my way to deal with the stress at the moment,
Right.
To find something valuable I can do, and the area I can be helpful using my skills.
That's outstanding. It seems to be a common thread with everyone I'm talking to. Their outlet or something that they're doing that really helps them with this is finding purposeful activity.
Yes, it actually something a lot of Ukrainians do at the moment. They find their way of being helpful. They find their way to do something meaningful, and it's actually a good routine it's like a good way to cope with your emotions and with everything that is going on here. So I think it's it's a defensive mechanism, maybe. Our brain is trying to defend this anxiety and everything else that we can hear and experience here. But I think it's a great way to feel your purpose. I don't know, to feel that you do something impactful.
Right. I feel like you're helping, doing something to improve the situation. You spoke about routines. Is there any routines that you've done personally that has helped you, or any routine that you would encourage others to apply to their life during these stressful times to improve their mental health?
I start with the basics, and I always tell my clients to be more aware of our basic needs. I mean, sleeping, maybe from 8 to 8 hours a day, eat healthy, do some exercise. And I'm not talking about sport. I'm actually talking about like this, just being physically active, maybe walking, or I don't know, going some places you can feel your body movement.
Right.
And actually spending some quality time with the close ones, because this social support is actually really important part of this routine. So I would start with basic needs, and just this routine, it should be predictable, because we live in time of uncertainty. So
Right.
our routine should be predictable for us, and it gives us stability, safety, and understanding what is going to be next.
Yes, absolutely. I enjoy my routine. It's usually just a quick little run in the morning. Your organization, what things do you all do to help others? I know you mentioned you help women and military troops, but what specifically do you guys offer?
We provide assistance in 3 areas, actually. Like the first is, and maybe the most like popular, it's consultations on psychological and social issues. Psychological help, I mean, when a military person or relatives of a military person, they can apply for personal issues regarding, I don't know, children or relationships in the family. And also social help, we can get answers, they can get answers from us about service or social guarantees. And sometimes it's not easy for them to find how to do this, how to deal with documents and stuff like that. So we can help to make their life easier. The second part of our job is we created like support groups for wives and mothers of military personnel. It's like online meetings with the participation of psychologists, of course. Women, they often come to groups not just to support themselves, but actually to learn how to support a man on the front line. It's important because their relationships can struggle because of the distance and all the stress and all the happening with the men on the front line. And of course, individual online counseling for us, like more complex psycho-emotional conditions. We provide, I mean, when a military member or someone from his family needs more like in-depth individual psychological help, it can be obtained on the telephone line or in support group. So our individual online counseling is also, I think, important, because a lot of requests we get, and some of them need like more time and more even psychoeducation from a psychologist.
Right.
So also we provide like these psychological support groups for families of soldiers who are considered missing, and for family members who are waiting for their relatives to be released from captivity. Support groups for family members of fallen soldiers. And of course, our consultations, they are free and confidential. So we are really happy to be able to help.
That's amazing.
Others.
That's I was just curious, this organization, this isn't something that was provided for like my country. Like when we first started war, I was interested. Do you know like when it started or where they got the idea from? Because it seems like such an amazing idea. Was there a template, or was it just a bunch of inspired people working together to make it happen?
This like organization, I mean, Public Movement for Empowering Women in Ukraine, they started in 2014 when it happened the first time when
Right.
Russia attacked. So, and they had a lot of different projects during this time. But when a full-scale invasion happened, they thought that it would be it would be better and more helpful to create such service. It's like a hotline actually, but also like with support groups and individual online counseling. And we just like main members of the organization, they got a lot of requests, and that's how the idea came to them to cooperate with other psychologists and to do it like more officially, more organized. We actually have on a regular basis trainings how to deal with grief, loss, ambiguous loss, or how to deal with the consequences of PTSD, and with someone who has suicidal thoughts. A lot of trainings and like supervision groups for members of this organization. So we try to do our best.
I think you guys are doing an awesome job.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys are doing so much. That's really impressive. So if someone was looking to get help from your organization, is there a website or a hotline that they could reach out to?
Yes, there is a website, Підтримка in UA. .com, or just maybe Підтримка in UA. That's all, not .com. Sorry. And we have like a phone number on the main page. When you like on the website, you can call, or you can get consultations via Telegram, actually, because some people, they may be in other countries and they don't have like card, like a phone number, Ukrainian phone number to call us. So they can like write their requests in Telegram, and we can consult even like via chat. So
okay, and I'll add that in the show notes in the bottom, so it'll be a quick reference for anyone that's looking for that information. Let's see. When you started helping a lot of individuals, both in your private practice as well as volunteer work, did you notice any trends or anything that kind of stood out to you or that you thought were interesting?
Yeah. There's a difference. My work before war happened and now.
I imagine so.
I can see like many predictors of PTSD, like self-criticism, self-blame, anger, and problems sleeping. And even some like early signs of PTSD, like really strong emotional reactions, relieving painful memories, insomnia, detachment, and anxiety, a lot of anxiety and a lot of guilt. I don't know, the main requests from clients now, it's like anxiety and guilt. It's like top two requests now.
Yeah.
They some of I think the biggest problem it's we can already observe like 70 or even 80% of the population like these signs of depressive states, and it's like when people unwilling to do anything, there's like a constant feeling of heaviness and loss of meaning and values. They don't know the reason for getting up in the morning, and they just cannot get up at all. It happens a lot.
How do you encourage someone to work past that, to get up, to get out there again? I just keep coming back to purposeful activities. It seems to be like that's one of the big ones that's been helping a lot of people to give back. It helps get rid of the guilt because you're doing something to help others. I was just wondering if there's something that you would suggest.
When I work with clients in such state, we firstly we normalize this state. It's okay, not like when they don't want to get up, because the guilt happens when they can't get up and they feel guilty of not being able to do something meaningful.
Right.
And when we normalize this state, it's okay sometimes to be in such situation when you don't want to get up, and just when you can you can be in that state, sometimes it actually goes, because when you fight it, you are not getting something from this state, because
Right.
it happens for a reason. It's like your brain tells you should do this because you need something, and when you fight it, you are not getting this, and at the same time you are not doing something you think you should do. So we normalize it first, and then we are trying to, it's actually individual, these coping mechanisms. It's not like there is no a common structure how you should do this and this, and
Right.
then you feel better. Of course, we start with our body. We pay more attention to our body and feelings, and how to we find a way to get our body some movement. So because even walking can give you so much benefits. You can get so much benefits from walking, and it's sometimes it's not easy, but actually it's the easiest way you can put yourself out there. And then we work with support of people around. I mean, when you suffer, it's really important not only to get qualified support from a psychologist, but also from family and close friends. It helps a lot. And then we deal with, this self-criticism and self-blame and other problems in their head.
Right. I believe last time that we spoke, you mentioned, which is I thought was one of the coolest things I ever heard someone say. And it was about what you would recommend for someone who's looking to improve their mental health. And you said educate themselves. And I think that that's super important, not just for the individual, but also the support group, which it's unique to Ukraine. Ukrainians as a people are all a support group. They're all connected in due to the war. And where would you recommend they go to educate themselves?
It's we should always start with psychoeducation because we have in Ukraine we our mental education level of mental education is low, so that I always start with education. And you can go on a website. We have this website Prometheus.org.ua. It's actually a website with free courses. And last time I visited, I saw a lot of good courses. You can they are free and they are really helpful. For example, traumatic experience and PTSD, how to deal with it, and techniques and some methods to help yourself, how to cope with the consequences of the war. It's like a course for family members of military personnel. Like other course, when you get in these techniques, it's like you you become a psychologist for yourself. It's like the way to self-help, how you can self-help yourself in difficult situations. There is a course how to adapt in a new place. It may be useful for refugees because they are living in new places and sometimes it's a difficult experience. And also there's a course for adaptation to a civilian life for someone who came back from war, and they also should adapt again. And also there's a good course of psychology of stress and how to cope with it. Also a lot of great techniques. There is like a video and audio format, and you can read, and there are pictures you can save on the phone, and they always going to be with you. It's like what you should do when you have, I don't know, panic attack or you feel scared, something like that. And you can use this information during your daily routine if something happens. So it's really beneficial.
Yeah, I'll add that in the show notes too, as well as I'm going to go check it out. I feel like you can never know everything, so there's there's going to be something useful there.
Yeah, of course. It's from these courses create professional psychologists, psychiatrists, psychotherapists. So they are actually. I've also finished some of them. So they are great, and I'm sure I can recommend it.
Awesome. You spoke that you also have clients that are refugees that aren't in Ukraine anymore. Have you noticed anything different with refugees opposed to the ones that have stayed? Like any elevated anxiety, depression, or feeling isolated or alone or disconnected or anything like that?
Everything you said. And also most of them are talking about being afraid of loud sounds and of having nightmares and being really I don't know how to say it, like sensitive. They can walk around and doing some basic stuff, and just they start crying and feeling all these feelings. And it's actually really difficult because in such situations you don't know what is going on, why, and what to do with it. Sometimes I can see that people abroad, my clients, they actually feel sometimes even worse than those who stayed in Ukraine. I believe
Wow.
it because when we don't know something, it's like how our brain works. When we don't know something, we're not in the situation. We like having this, we like imagining, like having these thoughts of what is going on, and we go negative all the time, because when we don't know something like exactly, we think like in more negative.
Worst
Like,
case. Yeah.
yeah,
I definitely do that. Worst case scenario every time.
all of us do that. It's
Mhm.
like it's how our brain works, and it's important to know that it's okay. It's like it's not okay. It's a fact that it's how it is, and they also get information from the news, and news news channels, they focus on negative information more than on positive information, and maybe it also helps our refugees imagining that in Ukraine everything is really really bad, and just everything is falling apart. But when you are in Ukraine, you know that you can adapt, that you can do something, and actually um, it's sometimes even more safe here than abroad.
Yeah. There's a phrase that comes up in Ukraine. I've never seen it anywhere else. It's called doom scrolling. And I thought that's the most accurate description of news. We tend to get into either social media, Twitter, or one of those, and we're
Mhm.
just looking at news article after news article, and it's just negative and negative and negative. And it really leads to me thinking negative eventually. So I always try to limit my time that I spend doing that.
Well,
Uh,
that's actually a really important thing to do, is to maybe have one or two main news resources. You believe them, and you just like maybe have 1 hour day to get through all the news, and that's all. Because when you do this on a regular basis, all the time, um, the consequences are not great
right.
for your mental health.
What are some things that have helped the refugees? I imagine like the support groups that you're suggesting have maybe helped them, but I was just curious because what I'm trying to think of is it's like the opposite of what I experienced, like going from my wartime situation back to the United States. It was like going from an environment where everybody was connected to an environment where no one had any real relatability. So I imagine like when you go from Ukraine to somewhere else, you're going from an area that has a lot of relatability to the war to an area where they don't. So you might feel a little bit alone. So I was just curious of things that they may be doing that are helping.
They actually trying to find or to find someone who understands their experience, and just stay in touch, or to continue online, getting this support from someone close. And also it's really important when you're abroad uh, to adapt there. I mean, learn language, traditions, and like some culture issues, so you feel like you a part of a community, a part of social social events. I don't know, because we are like we are social. It's important
Right.
for us to feel this social connection. So adaptation and trying to meet new people, I don't know, to go out, to learn about culture you live in, uh, language, and all of these things. It's actually helping to feel more connected.
Right.
Uh, so
Um,
that's like the main
yeah,
thing.
reconnecting and feeling part of the community. Uh,
Yeah.
and then one I was going to ask you is about your own personal experience with your mental health. I don't know of anyone that's more capable of articulating the process that you went through other than a psychologist. So I was really curious, did you notice any shifts in your mental health, and what were things that you did to kind of improve that or help in any way?
Yeah, I had like an issue, and I discovered it with my psychologist, because I always work with my psychologist. Of course, it helps me. It helps me to prevent a lot of consequences I may get from working with others. So I discovered that I started to stay at home a lot. I mean, like isolate myself from the outside world. And it was like my way of dealing with stress and anxiety of going out, even though it was safe to go out and do something. And with others, I mean, with the close ones, I could go out and do stuff. But alone by myself, I felt um, I felt this like lack of safety, and maybe that's why I stayed at home. It was my like power place. I don't. Uh, I felt I felt great for some time staying at home, but then, like during my consultations with my psychologist, um, I got an idea that uh, it become like unhealthy way to dealing with it, because
Right.
it was like I was actually scared to go out by myself, and then I we like talked about it, and I actually start putting some efforts to do something to go out, and I started these dance classes, and I go there two times a week, and there is a social support. There is something that can get my mind off all the things happening, uh, and actually it helped. Now I feel free to go out, to walk around by myself, and I'm really grateful. I discovered it like early stage of
Right.
something maybe worse. So
I think that that's something that's important. I was talking with Anton, who's a researcher, and he suggested, PTSD levels aren't very high yet in Ukraine. And that just got me thinking about my own personal experience. It took me 10 years to acknowledge the fact that I had PTSD. It wasn't a year or two. And I think catching shifts in your mental state and your mental health early is really That's the trick of preventing any systemic and prolonged issues. And I think it's awesome that you caught it so early, and that you guys as an organization are being so proactive about educating others about, hey, these are signs and symptoms that you can identify now that'll prevent you from having systemic mental health issues down the road.
Yeah, actually, that's really important, because there's a misconception that everything will be fine immediately once Ukraine has won, and like this, the post-war period is usually even more difficult than the wartime period.
Right.
And when we, like in a wartime period, we should like already do something to help ourselves, like to prepare ourselves for um, everything that is, everything can happen then.
Right.
It's not going to be easy, and we should.
Yes. Focusing on safety, as well as there's so many opportunities right now to be purposefully helping others in your community. I know in my experience, once the war is over, that kind of goes away, and it's harder to find opportunities to find purposeful work and giving back to the communities. I was going to ask you, how does someone get involved to help you or your organization and your all's volunteer efforts? Is there a way to donate or a way to support you all?
I think there is a donation, like information, but I'm not sure. Actually,
Okay.
we actually don't focus on that. I don't know why, but we volunteer, and we started like that, and it's okay for us. We like to cooperate with, for example, we cooperate with other hotlines from different countries like Israel, and we like share our experiences, and it was really great because there is something we can learn from them, and
Right.
actually we can share our experience. As you said, it's unique, and they actually really wanted to understand what is going on here, like inside.
Right.
So it's important to cooperate with others to share experiences, I think, and we are open to all the opportunities.
That's awesome. Well, that's all my questions. I was just going to give you an opportunity. Is there anything that you would like to share or touch on that maybe I missed?
I actually sent you some organizations, and I just would like maybe to like tell others, maybe
Okay.
someone
No, that'd
from
be perfect.
Ukraine, yes, that they always can get free psychological support from any country. And there's a lot of organizations like ours that provide such services. So it's better to do it the earlier they can to get.
Exactly. Earlier the better. And all the organizations that you provided, I am going to add in the show notes, as well as we'll make some creatives and put them out there on social media. So we'll make it easy for anybody who would like any support or help, easy access for them to go and look that up.
Thank you. It was really, I was really excited to talk to you and share my experience.
I really value this. I feel like a psychologist's perspective in a situation like this is so valuable. Seeing how you identify things within yourself, and not only that, like the activities and the things that you're doing, it's an example of what we should be doing. You know, those of us who don't know and haven't had the education, you know, and I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me.
Yeah, thanks to you for the opportunity to share my experience and everything we talked about. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. Thank you. And you have a good day.
You too.
All right. Bye
Bye.
bye.